Courage to move on as a single mom. Disappointment and heartache. I was searching for something real, for someone to fill the emptiness inside. But, no matter where I turned, it always seemed to lead to another dead end. I finally found my Abba Father, not just in knowledge, but in spirit, growing and letting go. I want to let you know that if you're listening right now and you feel lost, unseen, or unloved, I want you to know this.
Welcome to Pro31 Women, a series featuring women of faith from all walks of life, sharing their stories and a message of hope. This is her story.
Hey everyone, welcome to Pro31 Women channel. It's truly a blessing and privilege to be a part of this mission. And today I want to share my story, my journey to knowing Jesus and how he changed my life. My name is Ginger. I grew up under the care of my grandmother, a very strong woman of faith who walked closely with Jesus. She didn't just talk about it, she lived it. And through her example, I learned early on the importance of loving and trusting the Lord above all else. I was raised in church, attending services, and went to Catholic school from a young age. So I knew about Jesus, but as I grew older and entered into my adult, years, I began to drift away, not because of anything lacking in my upbringing, but because of, life's challenges and the choices I made along the way. Looking back, I realized that some early wounds and unmet needs left me searching for love and validation in the wrong places. Even though I knew of God's love, I didn't yet have that personal, intimate relationship with him. I was trying to fill an emptiness in my heart that only Jesus could truly satisfy. As a teenager, I became a young mom. It was both beautiful and, a challenging season, one that taught me tremendous responsibility, resilience, and unconditional love. But it also brought trials I wasn't prepared for. I faced pain, brokenness, and moments that just left me feeling unseen and unloved. Yet even then, God's hand was on my life. I didn't realize at the time he was already working in the background, protecting me, shaping me, and patiently, drawing me closer to him. Eventually, I found courage to move on as a single mom. But on my journey to find love, I kept ending up in relationships that led to, disappointment and heartache. I was searching for something real, for someone to fill the emptiness inside. But, no matter where I turned, it always seemed to lead to another dead end. Then during one of those seasons, I met the father of my second child. His family was very different from what I was used to. They were believers, people who genuinely walked with Jesus. They invited me to church, and for the first time, I began to feel something truly stirring in my heart. People there encouraged me to get a Bible, and I started reading the Gospels. I just remember, buying the study Bible and opening it for the first time. And I was pregnant with my second child at this time. Back then, this was 23 years ago. And as I started reading, it felt like the words were coming alive. It was like piercing through my heart. And it was like everything that once was black and white suddenly like burst into colors. And that's when I truly met Jesus, not just in knowledge, but in spirit, And I remember thinking, I finally found my Abba Father. Through his word, I began to understand what real love, hope, and joy meant. The kind that no person could ever give. I realized that even with all my past mistakes, my shame, my pain, Jesus had already forgiven me. He died for me. My circumstances, of course, didn't change overnight. In fact, I was still going through more pain, brokenness after that, including another difficult relationship. My second child's dad. But this time I wasn't walking alone. That was reflecting back and looking back. That's how I would describe it now. It's just like I wasn't walking alone. I had Jesus by my side. And even if I didn't fully understand how to surrender, he was teaching me patiently, lovingly, on how to trust him. Following Jesus has been a journey. A daily walk of learning, growing, and letting go. Just saying, God, I'm letting you, God, I surrender this at your feet, Lord. I've learned that salvation isn't a one-time moment. It's a lifetime relationship with the one who never stops pursuing us. Today I can honestly say that my life looks completely different. Not because everything is perfect, but because I found peace in the one who is. Jesus became my healer, my provider, my comforter, my friend, and the love I had been searching for all along. He restored my identity and showed me that I am chosen, forgiven, and deeply, deeply loved. There's still challenges. Life always, will have them, but now I face them with hope, not just fear. I've learned that surrendering to Jesus doesn't mean that we'll never struggle again. It just means that no matter what we face, we never walk alone. Through the years, God has continued to shape my heart, teaching me patience, humility, compassion for others who are hurting. God is working on me in terms of learning how to thank him, not just in the good times, but also the times of pain and trial. So, every tear and every broken chapter was leading me just closer to him, preparing me to encourage others who might be walking through similar valleys or paths. I just want to let you know that if you're listening right now and you feel lost, unseen, or unloved, I want you to know this. Jesus is still pursuing you. You don't have to do it yourself. You don't have to have it all together to come to him. He just wants your heart. He can take your past, your pain, your mistakes, and turn them into something beautiful. There's no greater love than the love of Jesus. And when you finally encounter him, you'll realize he's been there all along, waiting for you to come home. So do know this. Know this. He's truly there waiting with open arms. So I just want to thank you for letting me share my story. My prayer is that it reminds you that no matter how far you've wandered, there's always redemption, always grace, and always hope in Jesus. Thank you, and God bless you.